On this night, the 7 Deadly Sins battlefield was populated by 7 of the biggest stars in W3L history: the Contingency Plan, Joe Coffey, Mike Musso, Lucian Maynard Smith, and Nathan Reynolds. The prize, a shot at the Heavyweight Championship on W3L's grandest stage. The task is wrestling's toughest tournament, 7 Deadly Sins. First is the opening round battle royal, and then it's down to pinfall, submission, knockout. Who will win W3L's toughest tournament, 7 Deadly Sins 2016? Available now on DVD at W3LWrestling.com and on digital download at W3LBoxOffice.com. Hello everyone, welcome along to W3L Wrestling Showdown Rewind here, of course, on the W3L Network, just like it always is every Sunday at 12 o'clock. Thank you for joining me. Hopefully you do every week. Thanks for hitting that subscribe button, whether you've just done it because I've reminded you, whether you did it years ago. Either way, thank you for being part of this. And thanks if you watched our DVD Highlights Fans Choice Show last Wednesday at 8 o'clock. It debuted. We take a closer look at one of the amazing titles on the brand new W3L Box Office. Last Wednesday we announced a new title, and you've just seen the trailer for it. 7 Deadly Sins 2016. A fantastic lineup for the 7 Deadly Sins tournament, as well as a fantastic heavyweight championship match. Joey Legend defending his title against Kevin Williams, and it's well worth seeking out. You can either get the DVD from our online store, more on that in a bit, or go to W3LBoxOffice.com and you can watch it via digital download. So get your hands on 7 Deadly Sins 2016. In fact, check out all of the box office, it's well worth seeing, of course. And this will tide you over until we can bring you live events. Obviously that's not going to happen anytime soon. These are the dates we currently have penciled in. They're the ones that we've rescheduled from earlier this year. They were supposed to have before COVID-19 came along and threw a spanner in the works. These will probably end up being rescheduled again, let's be honest. We are subject to government restrictions, so don't take these as gospel. But currently this is what's on the schedule. So when we know we can definitely bring you wrestling, we'll let you know we can definitely bring you wrestling. We're right in this what we're working with. And when we do come back, we'll have Crafty Connoisseur coming along with us. They of course will sponsor all of our live events, and I know what you're thinking, you know, you can't get a drink after 6 o'clock now, all the pubs and restaurants closing. Well, guess what? Crafty Connoisseur's website doesn't close. So you can go online, see that amazing range of spirits that they sell, make a purchase, and they will send it out to you. You don't even have to leave the house. So make a purchase from them, tell them that we said hello, and if you've got a couple of spare pennies, something in our direction. Get a fan support package. Prices starting at only a £5, and there's something to suit every single budget. There really is. Not only will you get a dirt cheap ringside ticket, you'll get one of our amazing DVDs, a signed poster, and an exclusive video message from a W3L star of your choice. You can pick them up from our website. I'll tell you more on that in a little while. But this is Rewind. We dig into the archives. We bring you a classic match. We're heading back to 2007. 2 people making their respective debuts on this programming. One of them is the Butcher Scott Renwick. At one point, one of the pillars of Scottish wrestling. Everybody knew him. He was a big success, particularly through the west of Scotland. And he's going to be taking on a man who was a strong part of WCL way back then. And he is none other than Brad Fusion. It's going to be quite an intriguing contest, so let's see what happens as we go down to ringside as Brad Fusion battles the Butcher Scott Renwick. Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joe Fordyce here with your Wrestling Showdown Rewind. And we have got a contest from the June of 2007 set for you. We've got 2 men that have never appeared here on the W3L Network before in either Rewind or indeed normal Wrestling Showdown. That man there, that referee Clarence Mikado is just making final checks on, that's the Butcher Scott Renwick, long time part of the Scottish wrestling scene. Was debuted in August of 2005.
his career kind of slowed down towards the middle of the 2010s and sort of the 2015 mark, I think, roughly around then. We'll no doubt talk more about him in the future. He will be reappearing here on Rewind in a few weeks' time, but let's have a look at his opponent, the man controlling the waist. Well, he certainly was. That one being Brad Fusion, and he's, as Renwick grabs the ropes there, and he's a man that maybe a lot of fans these days aren't that familiar with. If you were around W3L at that point, if you knew Scottish wrestling way back in sort of 2007, you'd probably be familiar with Brad Fusion and his work. And he, of course, competed for W3L fairly regularly. His first match for the World Wide Wrestling League was sort of mid-2006. He wrestled a bit through the west of Scotland as well. So, again, you may have known who he was then, but fans these days may have somewhat forgotten about him. He's still active, as we'll no doubt cover as the match goes on, but you're not going to see him turning up in your local leisure centre anytime soon, as Renwick charged at him, and Brad Fusion dropped down, and Renwick went head first right out the ring. And as you can see, we're in a sort of leisure centre, so that's a particularly solid floor, as Brad Fusion just fakes him out. Very flippy and agile Brad Fusion, very athletic. And like I said, it's the first time we've actually seen him in action. Of course, over the years he'd be a former W3L Tag Team Champion. Also, the holder of the W3L British Rules Championship. It was fairly short-lived, it has to be said. The title didn't really last for very long, but he was the first ever British Rules Champion. And he won it at Resolution 3, winning the tournament final over the Butcher Scott Renwick, who he obviously faked out, ducked under that clothesline, knew he was coming. And he gets the arm drag. Renwick's certainly no slouch when it comes to speed, but Fusion's just that step ahead. Renwick has the power advantage. He goes face first into the turnbuckle. Fusion's got this match going his way, hasn't he? As hold on, Renwick showing off the power, pops on the apron, and look at this! Springboard dropkick! And the Butcher in the far corner. And of course Brad Fusion showing a lot of great athleticism, and you can't tell it from this match. But Fusion would eventually get in as he shoves the referee at the way, and Renwick taking advantage of it. He would get heavily into mixed martial arts, and around 2010 his career would somewhat grind to a halt, it has to be said. Mainly because he then concentrated and pretty much spent all his time training for MMA. It became his passion, and of course it's hard to be a full-time professional wrestler and trained fully for MMA, so he gave up the wrestling, changed his style, and we've already seen how agile and athletic he is. That got changed for his more kind of MMA stylings. He dedicated himself fully to doing that, and he did have some fights here in Scotland, but he'd move over to the west coast of the United States of America, continue training over there. He'd end up with an 8-2 record in fights. Although ironically, if you visit the Sherdog website, they don't list any fights for him whatsoever. But as best I can tell, he's got an 8-2 record. So he was fairly successful. He did pretty well for himself, both in Scotland and the United States. And is over on the west coast of the USA that he still lives to this day. He competes a lot in California, because in 2018 he got a sort of another taste of the wrestling bug. I guess it never truly leaves you. And so he started competing again. You'll not find Brad Fusion listed anywhere, but you will find the name Calder McCall. That's what he's known as, the Highlander, to give him his full title. And he wrestles over, well, he did. Not many people are wrestling these days. But yeah, back out in California, he competes fairly regularly as Calder McCall, and uses a lot of his MMA abilities in that, as Renwick takes down that clothesline. He also teaches some martial arts as well, self-defense classes, that sort of thing. And for by wrestling is, what's Renwick going to go for here? Trying to muscle him up, and slams him. The man that at this juncture was Brad Fusion. Now of course wrestling is called McCall. If you've ever watched Kingdom on Netflix, this is an MMA drama, he was one of the stunt doubles on that show and appeared in some of the scenes as well. So he's been making inroads into television, and his MMA career has really benefited him. He tries to fight back to his feet against the Butcher. It's these two men, both former tag team champions in W3L. Hang on, reversal! And a knee lift. I mentioned that Renwick probably has the power advantage, and he definitely does. And he's a man who's a strong part of Scottish wrestling. Again, we'll cover him more when he reappears in a few weeks' time here on Wrestling Showdown Rewind. But let's continue talking about Brad Fusion. If you go on to the newly launched W3L Box Office, you can watch the inaugural Resolution event from September of 2007, a couple of months after this match took place. Brad Fusion is in a triple threat match, along with all the other amazing matches. You can of course purchase it on DVD from the W3L website, or indeed go on to the box office and you can stream it via digital download. And you can see Brad Fusion in action. Look at him fighting back here. Gets back to his feet as the crowd on his side, accelerating the pace, but Renwick runs into him. Renwick's a bit leaner than he would be in later years. He would bulk up, add a bit more power, and Renwick tried not to go for that hip toss, but the gravity took him down, as does that Hurricane Rana and a drop kick, and Renwick being flung all over the place. Oh, and a slam. I think he might have been trying to go for an inside cradle, but it was not to be. And Brad Fusion, with the crowd on his side, as you can tell, he likes to fly and lands the moonsault. Is this going to be enough to put away the Butcher? It doesn't yet. Ironically, the Butcher just recently formed a team the month before, that team being Britain's Most Wanted, with MANOEUVRES Killian Dane, who's back in the singles ranks here. This Fusion hoists him over his shoulder. And a fireman's carry, what's he going to go for? Spins him out. Oh, hold on. Oh, Renwick countered the TKO, hits the prime cut, and hooks a leg, and defeats Brad Fusion. Scott Renwick, it looked like it was going to be all over for him, hooked up across the shoulders. Obviously, Fusion was going for the fireman's carry at the car, but Renwick held on, and then dropped him down with the prime cut, one of his favourite moves, and scores a big victory over Brad Fusion, and defeats him here this week on Wrestling Showdown Rewind.
The Butcher Scott Renwick arguably stealing the victory from Brad Fusion there. Of course, that is just a taste of the amazing archival stuff that we bring you every week here on Wrestling Showdown Rewind. But it's not just this programme. If you've hit the subscribe button, you'll know that for sure, because every Wednesday 8 o'clock we now bring you DVD highlights Fans Choice, where we look in depth at one of the amazing titles that you can watch on the W3L Box Office. Last week we talked about Clash of the Titans. This coming week we're going to be talking about the inaugural Resolution event, and Brad Fusion was part of that event. There's also going to be a match from it for you to watch. It's one that you fans voted on. Which match is it? Well, come along on Wednesday to find out. If you hit the subscribe button, you'll be notified when the episode is made available. But this Wednesday, 8 o'clock, I'll be talking about the inaugural Resolution, and I'll also be telling you about another new title we'll be releasing. So that's this Wednesday, 8 o'clock, DVD highlights Fans Choice. And if you like knowing how things came to be, if you like behind the scenes gossip, then check out Mike Musso's Bitter Truth podcast. He put one up just the other day. He and Kieran Swinney talked about the Resurrection event, W3L's second ever event. They go in depth into it, lots of cool behind the scenes anecdotes and stuff. It's really well worth a listen. Check that out on the network. You'll need to have hit the subscribe button to be able to access it though. So do it, one button click, literally, it's all it takes. So make sure you check out the box office and the Bitter Truth podcast and DVD highlights Fans Choice this coming Wednesday at 8 o'clock. Now all this is good, but live action is better. And again, these are the dates that we've had rescheduled from earlier this year. Obviously everything is subject to change. We will bring you live events as soon as it is humanly possible, but we will keep you informed as to when that will be. Thanks to Crafty Connoisseur, who of course will be sponsoring all of our live events when we next have them. Remember, you can't buy any alcohol after 6 o'clock now. All the pubs and stuff are closed, but You can still buy alcohol from their website. It's still active. It's always been active. Make a purchase from them and tell them that we said hello. And if you're making a purchase, chuck some money in our direction by a fan support package. Prices begin at £5. There's something to suit every budget. And again, you get cheap ringside tickets, an exclusive DVD. You'll get a signed poster and a video message from a W3L star, personalised just to you. What more could you want? That, plus DVDs, plus t-shirts, all of which are available from our website, W3LWrestling.com. Make sure you sign up to the mailing list while you are on the website. Give us a like on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, join us over on Instagram, subscribe to this channel, as I keep saying countless times. Use that hashtag, get involved. Renwick versus Fusion, did you enjoy that? Did you like those guys? What do you think of the match? Who are you looking forward to seeing in the weeks to come? And then make sure you come back here next week, because yes, I will be bringing you another archival classic contest. Remember, this coming Wednesday, we've got DVD Highlights Fans Choice. We'll be hearing another Bitter Truth podcast from Mike Musso at some point. And then next Sunday at 12 o'clock, it's another edition of Wrestling Showdown Rewind.